What I particularly like here, that it has so much pull that you are not going to find any lag. Nothing looks desperate or done just for the heck of it. Courtesy, the classic BMW X5 Facelift has been retained, and that's actually a good thing, because again, in a way, psychological effect we had that it is the SUV that comes closest to performance SUVs, you know, the Porsche Cayennes of the world. So yes, that's quite something saying. A good balance of performance, sporty handling and comfort. Hi folks, welcome to Park Plus, your car app. The car with me today is the all-new BMW X5 Facelift, and with the facelift, it has received a healthy dose of upgrade in every department, be it features, comfort, looks or performance, and we are going to give you a proper lowdown on all of that. So stay tuned till the end, because we have lots of interesting things to show. You're watching Park Plus, your car app. I'm Shubham Parasar. Do subscribe to the channel, do hit the bell icon to stay notified, and do head to the app for all the updates in the Indian car bazaar. चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं. Let's get cracking. So let's begin with the look itself. Now, what I particularly like here, that nothing looks desperate or done just for the heck of it. Courtesy, the grille. The infamous controversial BMW kidney grille, but actually fits in quite neatly and nicely onto the face of the BMW X5. And further, I love the satin silver finish, gives it that premium appeal. And if that is not enough to impress you, it comes with illumination function as well. So backlight here, and looks quite gorgeous when lit at night. Further, these are active vents like we have seen in other BMW models, so they open up to cool the engine, and when you're speeding up, they close to give you better aerodynamics. And speaking of aerodynamics, this has M Sport package, so aerodynamically this car is advanced. You have air ducts here, the bumper looks quite sharp and chiseled, and you have a nicely done air dam as well. Similar air curtains on the side, and all of these come with piano black finish to have just that right amount of contrast on the face. Further, the grille is flanked by these BMW LED headlights, quite sleek. I love the new pattern, blue inserts and arrow pattern for the DRLs, and they look quite premium as well. The face, it has that sense of robustness and bold appeal. The contours on the bonnet, the character lines look quite neatly executed, quite tall, and overall it brings in that sense of newness you expect in a facelift. On to the profile now, and nothing much has changed. The classic BMW X5 Facelift has been retained, and that's actually a good thing, because the design, it doesn't look busy. Now, speaking of changes, what I really like here are these piano black finish you see on the window frame, quite sporty. I prefer them over the satin silver or the chrome finish. And you have similar treatment on the roof rails, on ORVMs, on vents, and you have the M badge right here. But what I like even more are these 21-inch alloy wheels. Love the Y pattern, looks humongous. 315 section tires, so pretty wide tires. Now they might take a toll on the ride quality because of the profile. We'll come to that part in a wee bit when we will get behind the wheel. But yes, in terms of looks and appeal, they get a sense of sportiness when it comes to overall design of the car, and I love them. Further hidden here are M brake calipers, and these are finished in blue. Overall, all of them together brings in that sense of sportiness, and you will love to look at this silhouette.
And since we are speaking of the profile, it's a good angle to show you the height adjustment feature जो इसके ground clearance को बढ़ाती या कम करती है. Thanks to the air suspension, यहाँ पे आपको 5 adjustment levels मिलते हैं. 2 हाई के लेवल्स जो आप ऑफ-रोडिंग के टाइम पे या बहुत ही ज़्यादा खराब रास्तों पे यूज़ करते हैं, एक नॉर्मल राइड हाइट जो डिफॉल्ट मोड है, and 2 levels low ride height के लिए which you engage while cruising on highways or smooth tarmac, or further to improve ingress or egress of the X5, since it makes hopping in the car quite easy and is also helpful while loading luggage.
And finally on to the rear. Now in terms of design, it has gotten just a bit sharper and sportier to look at. Nothing much has changed actually, but now you get this new 3D pattern LED tail lights which look quite nice, and again they have their own pattern here, bow arrow treatment, so quite sharp to look at. And overall the design looks sporty because you have treatments like a good sizable diffuser right here on the bumper and chrome exhaust tips. You have dual chrome exhausts here. Overall retains that sense of sportiness you see in the back of the BMW X5. But what I like even more is this, the split gate setup. So this comes down, you have a good 645 liters of boot space, quite even boot to fit in your luggage. And this overall, the BMW X5 looks quite proportioned. The dimensions actually give you that sense of a big bold SUV, but not enormous or overly humongous, and that's something I really like about the BMW X5.
The new BMW X5 comes in two iterations in India, the X5 X-Drive 40i petrol which we are driving and the X5 X-Drive 30D diesel जिसकी performance review हम जल्द ही लेके आएंगे. Both iterations get the 3-liter straight 6-cylinder engine, petrol and diesel respectively. The petrol we are driving belts out 375 brake horsepower at 5200 to 6250 rpm and 520 Nm of peak torque at 1800 to 5000 rpm, and it does the 0 to 100 km/h run in 5.4 seconds. The diesel churns out 282 brake horsepower at 4000 rpm and 650 Nm of peak torque at 1500 to 2500 rpm and clocks triple-digit speeds in 6.1 seconds. Moreover, both engines come mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox.
But the new thing here is the 48-volt mild hybrid system that adds 13 brake horsepower and 200 Nm of peak torque and brings out a good balance between fuel economy and performance. So जब आप आराम से चला रहे होंगे, cruise कर रहे होंगे, it will enhance your fuel economy on the highway, but when you will be punching it harder, it will give you just the right boost across the rev band whenever you will need it. And with that, it's time to see how all that reflects on the road. So let's get behind the wheel and hit it hard. Well, I wanted to get behind the wheel quickly and get you this experience because this is one SUV you will love to drive, and this is one SUV that loves to be driven and wants to be driven hard. Yes, it's that good. And as far as performance goes, it's the same engine that we have experienced even in the M340i, and there it was in its full ballistic avatar. Here in the BMW X5, it's slightly toned down but still has that character, has that genes to it, and it's lovely when it comes to performance. Just foot on the throttle pedal and it goes. Man, it pulls and pulls, and it has so much pull that you are not going to find any lag, even a slightest of that lag throughout the rev range. It's that good. In fact, chances are that you will be carried away and you'll have to keep a check on the speed because again you'll have speed limits to follow. But yes, if you are buying this SUV, you would love to drive it and love to be behind the wheel, and sports is the mode for you because the pull is so strong that every time it brings that smile on your face, and that's exactly what I love about the performance of the BMW X5. In fact, in the entire German trio gambit, it is the SUV that comes closest to performance SUVs, you know, the Porsche Cayennes of the world. So yes, that's quite something saying. But अगर आपको fuel save करना है and you want to amble around, you want to drive happily, you want to cruise around, comfort is the mode you should resort to because 12 kilometers per liter is the claimed fuel economy, and it's very easy to get that figure. In fact, if you'll be driving very casually, very calmly, you can easily get past that figure. And you know, I have achieved somewhere around 13.7 kilometers per liter in comfort mode, and that's where I mostly keep it in the city. yes, whenever I'm out on the highway, the sports mode, it's that tempting that you would want to switch to sports mode every now and then. And in comfort, it brings you that right balance of performance and easy cruising. So if you're making normal overtakes on the highway, frequent overtakes, just a tap on the pedal and it is easy for you to take that leap and make that overtake. Then you have the Eco Pro mode as usual. When your chauffeur will be behind the wheel, most of the times you will want him to resort to Eco Pro mode because yes, it gets you really good fuel economy, and for a car that heavy, achieving around 14 kilometers per liter is impressive. And when it comes to the ride and handling part, again, handling is quite impressive for an SUV, again close to that performance SUVs category, but good for SUVs being the major focus and the cautious term here, because it's so good that at times you could get carried away and carry a bit more speed around corners than you should, and it's exactly when it will bite you, and there are chances that you will go a bit more wider than your line and you can lose out on the balance. So yes, always remember that this is a heavy SUV and a tall SUV, and whenever you will be cornering, there will be mass that will be shifting to the opposite wheels, and then the chances of you going wider is high. You do have all the electronic nannies to take care of that, so the tail remains in control for most of the part, but still, just for that fraction of second, it can get unnerving, especially for the passengers, and don't take that risk of going a bit too wide because you don't want to lose on the control. But again, coming to the handling part, as far as handling standards are concerned, it is very grippy, very pointy, and going around corners, those 315 section tires, they give you ample grip on the road, and you will always be wanting to chucking it around the corners. Yes, just throw it around and it will maintain its composure beautifully as far as you are doing good normal speeds or reasonable speeds, I'll say. So let's say around a corner, even at higher double-digit speeds, and the car will feel very much composed, very much settled. It's just when you'll hit that triple-digit speed marks, you will be wanting to lift your foot off the throttle and be a bit more in control. And again, in terms of handling, it is one of the best and closest to performance class SUVs. Not sedans, obviously not performance cars, but yes, close to performance class SUVs, and you will love being behind the wheel of the BMW X5. The steering too is quite engaging and is very good weight up whenever you are speeding up, and again you have a proper command on the nose of the car. It is pointy, just point it to a certain direction and you will be able to maintain your line, your lane, and the SUV will behave exactly to your input. So yes, you feel that intimacy with the wheel whenever you are around the corner or a bend. So yes, or even when you are changing lanes, steering feedback, no complaints at all. Now, what I particularly like about the BMW X5 is the braking performance. The bite that you get from these M-brake calipers is very progressive, and that is crucial because this car clocks triple-digit speeds in just 5.4 seconds, and the feedback you get, the bite you get from these brakes, again very progressive and is reassuring to mask that speed. The only thing that I feel a wee bit is that when you brake really hard, the tail, it feels just a bit light when the car is hunkered down and the weight is transferred towards the front end of the car. But again, that's just a wee beat that you feel and nothing of a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. So braking again is very progressive. Now, BMW termed their SUVs as SAVs, Sports Activity Vehicles, which means these are road-going SUVs, so road performance is satisfying, but when it comes to off-road, it can handle serious off-roading as well. So wheel articulation, or when it comes to, inclines, declines or dips, it performs. Still, it only struggles when condition gets a bit too intense, when it comes to rock crawling or when it comes to serious and very serious or slushy terrains, because again these ride on road tires as well, but can handle pretty serious off-roading as well, because the suspension comes with air suspension and you can adjust ride height. You have 5 levels of ride height adjustment, so when you are going off-road you can take it completely high, and when you are hitting highway and when you're on smooth tarmac you can take it to the lowest setting possible and you can have that satisfying road performance. And what I really love about the X5 is the exhaust note, especially in sports mode. Just have a listen. Heard that? Every time you downshift using these paddle shifters or every time you floor it, that exhaust note brings a smile on your face, and that's really impressive for an SUV. Yes, lots of fun when you hear that. And finally, coming to the ride quality part. 21-inch wheels, those are massive, and we were expecting them to take a toll on the ride quality, but to be honest, they actually haven't, because the ride feels supple and composed. In fact, when you're cruising on the highway, undulations on the road, you just don't feel them. Yes, they thud through the potholes and when you face a rough patch, but again those are not very prominent, and for the most of the part they maintain their composure, and the vertical movements inside the cabin are well taken care of. So the ride quality for Indian road conditions remains very much positive, and I think it is one of those SUVs that will keep you very comfortable as well. So overall, a good balance of performance, sporty handling and comfort. In fact, a very good or an excellent balance you get there. And to conclude on the driving experience part, the seats. These are very comfortable, they snug you very well, and they come with a host of adjustment options. So you have adjustment even for the shoulder support here. So you can get a very comfortable position and you can munch miles, you can drive for hours without stopping. You will be very comfortable in these seats, and they hug you so well around corners because you have corner support here as well. You have adjustment for them, so whenever you're cornering hard, they'll keep you in position and will feel very, very comfortable. The cushioning is just on point. It's soft, it again snugs you very well, and you can spend hours on it, as I said before. And with that, let me pull over and give you a view of the rear seat experience as well. And when you will be chauffeur driven, the rear seat of the BMW X5 feels properly premium and a very comfortable space. The seat itself is quite comfortable, good under thigh support, the cushioning is right on point, and the back seat has a very good angle to it as well. The only problem is that it doesn't recline. वो recline function अगर होता तो बहुत अच्छा होता, because again वो एक psychological effect भी है that वो एक comfort feature बढ़ाता है. But other than that, a very premium space. And even in terms of features, 4-zone climate control, so 2-zone you have right here. You have Type-C charging ports, 2 Type-C charging ports here, and a place to keep your phone. I have a Type-C charging port right here in front of me as well. यहाँ पर screen integrate करने के लिए भी जगह है, so it comes as an accessory, and you can have it place to put newspaper and magazines. And again, wherever you touch, wherever you brush your hand, it feels properly premium. You have these sun blinds as well. Further adding to the sense of space is this panoramic sunroof, which lets the light in. The space itself again is very comfortable for three people will be quite comfortable here. The only problem for the center passenger is that there is this armrest which protrudes to an extent, but other than that the floor is quite flat, so won't be that much of a problem. Again, in terms of ride quality, even at the rear it feels very settled, and you will be comfortable on the longer go, and you can easily spend hours on this very seat as well. And with that, it's time for us to pull over as we have reached our destination, and I'll give you a look of the cabin because there's a decent upgrade there and lots to show. So with the facelift, the cabin of the BMW X5 gets healthy dose of upgrade as well, and a tasteful one. Tasteful because it's not overdone in any way, and the materials that's been used, again, top notch and feels very opulent. The soft touch upholstery you see on the dashboard here, on the door pads, and almost everywhere inside this cabin feels very premium. And other material that's been used, like these open pore finish on the central console, on the dashboard, or the chrome highlights, very subtle treatment, and I quite like this. Also, the carbon fiber texture you have here on the dashboard, and the backlit treatment for the X5 and arrow badging, quite nice integration. And the color, it changes with the mode settings you will have here. Now the touchscreen, we have seen this curved display in all BMW cars. Even the X5 gets it, integrating the 14.9-inch touchscreen and the 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. Now the 14.9-inch touchscreen graphics, super sharp, very crisp, response can shame all flagship smartphones, and comes with host of apps. Yes, you have all the settings here for seats, for ambient lighting, everything you have right here on this touchscreen, and other apps as well. And also you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with full display, so very nice when they turn on. And the 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, again very sharp. In sports mode you have the rev counter and the speedometer here. You have all sort of details. You have camera view here, turn by turn navigation guidance right here on the screen, and it also tells you how much fuel you have saved on the go if you are driving in a pretty calm and sane manner. So quite a nice feature, and loads of information you have there on the instrument cluster as well. Also you have HUD head-up display, and you have 3 different settings for the HUD right here. So again, you have just the information you want, you can have on the HUD, and you can have the minimal information as well. Then in terms of features, again the cabin is quite loaded, but more than that, let me first tell you about the details on the screen. Now for climate control system, you'll have to resort to the screen. That is something which could have been improved, because I like physical buttons. You have single touch option for temperature setting, but for other settings you'll have to resort to the entire screen setup, which is a two-way process, and that kind of takes your attention away from the driving. So that is something which could have been improved. But you have few buttons like to adjust your volume and other buttons on the central console. Now not much of use, because you have same settings on the steering wheel as well. But the finish on this level, so you have crystal finish on the gear lever right here, quite nice, and we have seen this in all BMW cars. It replaces the stubby knob we have seen on the X5 before. Same crystal finish for the iDrive rotator, and knurled finish for this knob, which adjusts the ride height of the car. In terms of features now, cabin again is quite well loaded. 16-speaker Harman Kardon audio system, sounds very nice, very acoustic. Ambient lighting, of course, auto dimming mirrors you have here. ADAS features, so level 2 ADAS features you have even on the BMW X5. They behave pretty well in Indian driving condition. You know, just that when it comes to panic braking, it's when your pulses will be higher, because yeah, kind of bites at times.
But out of these, there's one feature which is a big relief for owners who often drive themselves.
Now, as much as you will love getting behind the wheel of the BMW X5, you really don't want to have the hassle of parking it all by yourself as well. So for that, BMW X5 has quite a cool feature which is called automatic parking assist. Now how that works, you need to preset your frequent parking routes onto the screen, like at your home, at your office, and it will park it exactly on that route, exactly how you did it. And let's try that out now. So let's put this in reverse and let's start. So let's put this in reverse and let's start. As you can see, I'm not in control at all. I'm not steering, I'm not braking, I'm not accelerating, I'm not doing anything. The car is checking the surrounding and it is parking all by itself. Just the way I did it, following the markings. And it will go there and brake as well, checking the surroundings, and it has stopped and it's engaged in park as well. Quite a nice feature. And now it's time for the Park Plus verdict. What do we think of the BMW X5 Facelift? See, with the update, the car has gotten expensive as well, 93,90,000 rupees to 1,07,00,000 rupees for the fully kitted up M Sport variant. But with the update, it has also gotten better in terms of looks, performance, more fuel efficient features and tech, and it feels very premium, one of the best in the segment. And if you're someone who has a driver's heart and love getting behind the wheel whenever you get the chance to, I think the BMW X5 is the perfect SUV you should be going for.